The day I came home from the cemetery, my childhood home was already changing. The front gate was wide open. Strangers were walking in and out of the living room carrying measuring tapes, paint samples, and boxes. For a moment, I thought I had come to the wrong house. But no, it was still the same white bungalow with the cracked flower pots my mom loved. The same front porch where she used to sit every evening with tea. Only now, it felt like I didn't belong there.
Hi viewer, before we continue, please do me a favor and hit that subscribe button, thank you.
I stood frozen at the gate, still wearing the black dress from her funeral, my hands trembling around the bouquet I had forgotten to leave at her grave. Then I heard her voice. Well, look who's back. My stepmother, Vanessa. Perfect hair, perfect makeup, not a single sign that she had just buried her husband's wife of 22 years. Or maybe that was the point. She walked toward me with the confidence of someone who believed the world already belonged to her. What's going on? I asked. She folded her arms. I sold the house. The words hit harder than grief. You what? She sighed dramatically, like I was the inconvenience. The paperwork is done. The buyers move in next week. I stared at her. This is my mother's house. She gave me a tight smile. Was? My chest tightened. She left this house to me. Vanessa laughed. Oh, sweetheart, grief is making you confused. Before I could answer, another voice came from behind. It was my father. Or rather, the man who used to be my father. He looked exhausted, older, but his silence told me everything. You let her do this? I asked. He looked away. Vanessa answered for him. Your father agreed it was best. I stepped inside the house, ignoring her protest. The walls still carried framed photos of my mom. Her books still sat on the shelves. Her scent still lingered in the hallway. How could they already be erasing her? Then I noticed something strange. The framed portrait above the fireplace was gone. In its place, a blank space. And suddenly I knew. This wasn't grief. This was greed. Vanessa had been waiting for the funeral to end, waiting for the sympathy calls to stop, waiting for the first moment she could claim what she thought was hers. I turned back to her. Show me the papers. She smiled smugly. I don't owe you anything. You sold a house that doesn't belong to you. She stepped closer. It belongs to your father now. No, I said calmly. It doesn't. Her smile faltered for the first time. Because there was one thing Vanessa didn't know. My mother had always been 3 steps ahead, and 6 months before she died, she sat me down at this very dining table. Her hands were weak from the chemo, but her eyes were sharp. Listen carefully, she said. I remember every word. If anything happens to me, don't trust Vanessa. At the time, I thought it was the medication talking. Now I understood. She had known what kind of woman Vanessa was, known exactly what she would try to do. And most importantly, she had prepared for it. The next morning, I drove straight to my mom's lawyer's office. Mr. Benson was already waiting. When he saw my face, he didn't even ask why I was there. Instead, he quietly opened a folder. I was wondering how long it would take before this happened, he said. My heart pounded. What do you mean? He adjusted his glasses. Your mother changed her will 3 months before she passed. I froze. She did. He nodded. And she was very specific. He slid the document across the desk. I read the first line, and my breath caught. The house, the land, the investment account, everything was left to me. Not my father. Not Vanessa. Me. I looked up. She can't sell it. Mr. Benson gave a slow smile. No, she can't. And then he said the words that changed everything. In fact, he turned to the last page. The sale she just made is legally invalid. For the first time since my mother died, I smiled, because Vanessa thought she had won. She thought she had taken the house. She thought she had erased my mother's memory. But what she didn't know was that the buyers were about to discover they had been scammed. And Vanessa, she was about to lose far more than the house. The buyers arrived the next afternoon with movers. A large truck pulled up outside the gate while Vanessa stood on the porch looking victorious. She wore white this time, as if she was already celebrating a new beginning. When she saw me step out of my car with Mr. Benson beside me, her smile disappeared. What are you doing here? She snapped. I looked past her at the movers, saving these people from a very expensive mistake. The couple by the truck exchanged confused looks. Vanessa crossed her arms. This is ridiculous. Mr. Benson stepped forward and calmly handed the buyers a document. Ma'am, sir, I'm the attorney representing the legal owner of this property. The husband frowned. Legal owner? I met Vanessa's eyes. Yes, me. The silence was immediate. Vanessa laughed nervously. That's impossible. I took the document from Mr. Benson and held it up. My mother transferred the deed into a trust under my name months before she died. The wife's face drained of color. You mean this sale isn't valid? Mr. Benson nodded. I'm afraid not. The husband turned sharply toward Vanessa. You took our deposit. Vanessa's composure cracked. There's been some misunderstanding. No, I interrupted. There's been fraud. That word landed like thunder. The buyer stepped away from her immediately. My father came rushing out of the house. What's going on? For the first time, he looked genuinely scared. I handed him a copy of the trust papers. His hands shook as he read. She never told me. I looked at him sadly. She didn't need to. Vanessa's voice rose in panic. This is insane. We had an agreement. No, Mr. Benson said firmly. You had a fake sale. The husband pulled out his phone. I'm calling the police. Vanessa's face went white. And in that moment, I saw it. The exact second she realized everything had collapsed. Not just the sale, her entire plan. Because Mr. Benson wasn't done. There's another issue, he said calmly. Vanessa looked at him desperately. What now? He opened another file. Your late wife also documented several unauthorized withdrawals from her medical fund. My father's head snapped up. What? I felt my stomach turn. Vanessa had been stealing from my mother while she was still alive. Hospital money. Treatment money. Money meant to keep her alive. Vanessa started backing away. This is a lie. But it wasn't. The bank statements were clear. Dates. Amounts. Her signature. Everything. My father looked like the air had left his body. You stole from her? Vanessa's silence was answer enough. The police arrived 10 minutes later. The buyers had already shown them the deposit transfer. Mr. Benson handed over the trust documents and bank records. By the time they placed Vanessa in the back seat of the patrol car, the entire street had gathered, watching, whispering, judging. She looked at me through the window, her face twisted with rage. This isn't over. I stepped closer. No. It ended the day you thought grief made me weak. The car door shut, and just like that, she was gone. A week later, my father moved out quietly, not because I forced him, but because the truth was too heavy for the walls he had ignored. I stayed. I repainted the living room, put my mother's portrait back above the fireplace, replanted her flowers, and every evening, I sat on the porch with tea, just like she used to, because sometimes the greatest revenge isn't anger. It's protecting what someone trusted you to keep. So if you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell for more stories like this.